Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. This is Dream Another Day Tarot, and this is going to be a reading for whoever needs to hear it. Please keep in mind these are general readings, so they may or may not resonate with you. Just take what does and leave the rest for somebody else. We've got the Lovers coming out here. Okay, choices, connecting. Okay. Also keep in mind that gender is fluid, so just place yourself where you fit. I use gender neutral language as much as possible on this channel in order to make my readings more inclusive. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you're not following me on my other socials and you would like to, my link tree is going to be down in the description box below, as well as my donation links if you ever want to drop me a donation. I am going live now every Friday. If you would like to join, I am taking questions for free, especially since my following is so small right now. Look at that, Queen of Wands, baby. Yeah, I just did a reading on TikTok, actually. I always do my little TikTok readings and then I jump here on YouTube. And the Queen of Wands came out in the TikTok reading. So it really is talking about taking your power back, get your confidence back. It's really strong Leo energy. Look at that, Two of Cups. Two of Cups also came out in the TikTok reading. Wow, maybe y'all need to go follow me on TikTok too, just saying. What else do I need to say? Happy solstice. It is summer solstice today. So we're definitely feeling that shift here. This is the sunniest day I think we've had in weeks. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it to be summer. So, yes, what else? Yeah, like the video if you like it, drop me a comment, subscribe, all that sort of thing. It's really important and very, very helpful. So thank you to everyone who supports me in my videos and my channel. We're definitely trying to build a little community over here. Okay, we've got the World coming out in reverse. So the World has been coming out in the reverse a couple times here in the last couple weeks. Look at that, Ace of Cups. But what I'm really getting from this energy is like, I gotta say my affirmations. Hold on, I'm so sorry, y'all. What I'm really getting though is like everything in divine timing. But let's say our affirmations. Thank you so much, Spirit, for your divine messages and guidance. We are deeply grateful and we know we couldn't do this without you. Would you please help guide the collective spirit for their highest good and please bless us and protect us as we move forward into this reading. Okay, so I'm really getting everything in divine timing. I feel like you've probably had to wait. Maybe it's been like, okay, for instance, for example, it's been a really long winter and a long spring, and we're finally getting into summer now, and it's almost like the end of June. And I know summer solstice is today, but it's very unusual for it to be this rainy and cold for this long. So it's almost like we've had to wait, and it's been in divine timing though, right? Because now here we are, summer solstice, and it's like the sunniest day we've had in a while. You know what I mean? So that's just like an example, okay? And with the Ace of Cups coming out, it's like you've had to wait, and it's been a long wait, and but it's been in divine timing because you're about to get like a really wonderful thing right on time. Does that make sense? So, okay, let's go ahead and get into this reading. Thanks guys for being here. Let's go ahead and do this. Thank you, Spirit. What does the collective need to know? What does the collective need to know? That Ace of Cups is wanting to come out. Okay, that you have some very abundant, loving energy coming towards you and coming from within you, okay? The Hanged One in reverse at the bottom of the deck is telling me that maybe you've been in this waiting mode, or you've been stuck and you've been hanging upside down and suspended in limbo, not sure what's going to happen, waiting, right? But it coming out in reverse is telling me that you've gained the enlightenment and you're coming out of that now. And you're getting your confidence back, you're connecting with people, the cycle is finally shifting, it's all in divine timing. Like, I'm really getting with this Lovers card, like the angels are on your side. Like you see this angel in the back, it's almost like y'all are being protected, you know, to be able to connect intimately and vulnerably with other people, and you're being like protected by the angels. Like that's the energy. And when I say angels, also mind you, I know not everyone subscribes to that, so I'm just talking about like, you know, these are divine archetypes, okay? We'll put it that way. And it's really about energy, okay? So, you know, maybe we don't have, you know, physical manifestations of this energy, but it's really about like, you know, it's just about the archetypal energy that is people call angels, yeah? So, okay, Two of Pentacles in reverse here. So I get the feeling y'all have had to juggle. You have maybe like one little ship, you know, coming in, and it's not like your big ship. You know what I mean? So you've had to do this where you're like a little bit here and there, you know, get through it. But this is coming out in reverse. It's like, I don't feel like you're gonna have to juggle anymore. You're not gonna have to wait on one little ship, okay? I feel like this means that your big ship is coming in. That Ace of Cups, right? Hanged One in reverse, this one didn't come out. You're coming out of this. You've gained the enlightenment from the struggle, from the limbo, from the waiting, right? And finally, it's time. So good. The Wheel of Fortune. You kidding? Yes. Yes. Okay. So this means all this waiting is really, it's resulting in a tidal wave. Like, honey, it's like, this is, the wheel is in spin. The wheel has been in spin, and finally it's spinning in your favor. That's what I'm getting. Look at that, Queen of Swords. Yeah, you've really learned how to cut out the noise and really cut through the garbage and kind of like get in touch with yourself clearly and your higher self. And so you're now in this place of clarity where you're able to, you know, protect yourself, you know, find balance. And they even have like a white and a red rose, and they have like red petals that they're like spitting out of their mouth, which I think is really interesting. And it's almost like, okay, so this is really silly, but on TikTok, there's always these like, there's like people who do this like, oh, well, we'll walk through a story and then I ask you questions along the way, you know, kind of remember your answers. And when we get to the end, I'll tell you what it means symbolically. So there's one about relationships that I watched recently. And you know, I always think they're kind of cheesy, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really, you know what I mean, believe all that. But in it, one of the questions was, you're on your way to your partner's house, you're walking down the path or whatever, and then you see these two rose bushes. You see red roses and white roses. Now you get to pick 20 roses for your partner, which, Jesus, it's a lot of roses. But if you're gonna pick 20 roses, how many of each color would you pick? And I mean, my first thought was like, I would do half and half. Well, you know what I mean? I don't know, that was just my first thought. And so then at the end they said, oh, well, that means that, you know, the white roses represent what you receive in relationships, what you expect to receive, and the red represents what you expect to give, right? So if you thought half and half, that means you want like a 50-50 relationship. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense, you know? But you see, like with the Queen of Swords, the reason why I'm telling you this story is because they're spitting out the red petals. You know, so it's like, maybe this is like you getting back to a place where like you were a giver, like very giving, and you're kind of like, you know what, I actually really want to receive. And you even have like this white snake here, so it's like healing what it is that you receive, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like you're being healed by receiving. That's what I'm getting here. And that you're like, I'm done giving too much. And you're always having to eat it, is what I'm getting. Like there's a lot of like messages coming through this card right now that you've just had to eat it and say, you know what, like, you know, you know, you're always focused on giving. And so now as the Queen of Swords, you're like, well, I'm not gonna give, you know what I mean, more than what I'm receiving. In fact, at this point, I feel like you're almost like, you're like, maybe I need to give to myself, you know what I mean? And then you're like, I want to receive more than I give, even. Which you don't want to end up being that way, but it's almost like at this time you are receiving a lot so that you can heal from giving too much. Does that make sense? That's the message. Four of Wands. Excuse me, y'all, at the bottom of the deck. I'm sorry, y'all. Morning coffee, you still got to clear the throat, you know? So, I feel like you've been through it, honey. You've been through it. And now you're getting to a place where you're able to just give to yourself and receive. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to give anything in relationships. You know, this is a time, okay? This is just a point in time where that you can begin to kind of almost like, look at that, the world in reverse in this deck too. Because you have not received for so long, or because you have, it's been kind of like you've had to wait to receive. Look at this, Four of Pentacles. Now people are going to be worshiping you. You know, it's part of your healing journey, and this is something that you don't have to be ashamed about if you end up in like more like one-sided connections where people are like really, really like enthralled by you and very attracted to you and just like can't get enough of you and shit like that. Four of Pentacles is like people wanting to hold on to you, you know what I mean? Like really, really treasuring you though, and appreciating you on this level that like maybe you're not used to. Yeah, look at that. And then you've got the Four of Swords coming out, which, trigger warning, by the way, these cards are very explicit. This is 18 and over only, okay? But you see with the Four of Swords, it's like, this is a pretty aggressive card, you know what I mean? So like the way that I look at this is like somebody maybe, or maybe just in general, your relationship dynamics have been very somewhat aggressive, and there's been a little bit of, you know, kind of like taking advantage or somewhat, and you've had to kind of heal from that. And so now it's like you're going from the Four of Swords to the Four of Pentacles, where now you're receiving and people are just like all about you, you know, regardless of gender, by the way. So that's what I'm really getting, is this is a time for you to really receive what it is that you did not receive before, you know? Wow. Okay, Spirit, thank you for the message. That's beautiful. Some of y'all might like, you know, I don't know, be like, maybe struggle with it a little bit. Look at that, Ace of Swords. Oh my God, look who's in charge now. You know, like it's like everything is flipped on its head. And like, it's so funny. Wow, because that looks like a heart with a pin in it. And like all the swords and the daggers and stuff. I mean, both people are having a great time, you know what I mean? But it's like it's a role reversal. Does that make sense? Or like it's flipped on its head from like that Four of Swords energy. Look at that Death card, totally renewed. Like I feel like you are in charge now, and now it's like, yeah, you've been through it. There's no more like, you don't have to do this shit anymore. I feel like you're in charge now. You know what I mean? I just saw another kind of somewhat aggressive card. I think it's the Nine of Pentacles in this deck. And I just saw it in the reverse as I was shuffling. So it's the same kind of energy. Wow, that's a great message. Look at that Four of Swords wanting to come out again. It's like, yeah, Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you've definitely been through it. There's definitely been some pain here, but it's changing, and that's the important part, is you're like, you've learned from it. And look at that, Queen of Wands coming in again. Like, and this is the same kind of energy of just like being really desired. And a lot of times, y'all, I don't know why, but in my readings really center the AFAB person, like, you know, like, so that's kind of like the becomes the object of the, when I say this collective you, but gender is fluid. So please remember, like, this is not just, you know, for AFABs or, you know, women or anything like that. This is for everybody. So, but a lot of times it just becomes the subject. You know, I don't know. It's maybe I'm a little biased, or maybe it's just the way the cards speak to me. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It just is what it is. And so now you're going to be cherished and appreciated and seen, and really be like cherished, like you're the prize. You know what I mean? And that goes for anybody, y'all. Like, I'm really want to drive that home. Like, anybody can be cherished. Anybody can be appreciated, sexy, you know, the one in charge, la la la. It's just about you maybe not having been treated that way in the past, you know? And a lot of times, unfortunately too, I do feel like, you know, especially like AMABs, assigned male at birth, men, right? Typically referred to as men. You know, unfortunately, there is this kind of like stigma around being vulnerable, around being like, you know, more femme, or being, you know, treated in a way that is like, you know, being appreciated and cherished and worshipped and all that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that people don't do that. I'm just saying that being able to actually receive it can be challenging, I think, because of societal stigma. Like, you're not necessarily supposed to be in that role, but you know, if you pay attention, you'll probably realize that, like, you know, that happens quite a bit. Or it's like, you know what I mean? Definitely the energy, there's this nurturing, you know what I mean, that happens. And I think that anybody can be treated that way, and it's a really healing, powerful thing, you know. Wow. So, okay, I'm also seeing that in this card, there's like these links, but they look like glasses. And it's almost like this person has taken their glasses off and they're seeing this other person like clearly without the glasses. Like, they're seeing them like for the first time, where it's almost like maybe this was like a societal stigma, or this was like, you know, some particular way of seeing the world, and they've taken it off and now they see and really realize like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, this is what's right in front of me. Like, look how shocked they look. Like, they're just like, oh, you know what I mean? Which is like beautiful. That's such a cool energy. It's like a very freeing energy. We've got the Two of Cups, and it flipped out in the reverse the way that I saw it. So it's almost like, yeah, this kind of like almost, you know, it's so funny because this card is like not nearly as vibrant as the other cards. Like, you see how much, it's much more pale and gray. Like, let me give you an example. You know what I mean? It's like much more pale, like compared to the other cards. So it's like almost something that was lost, or something of the past, you know. Two of Cups in reverse is almost like, you know, what was, what's the word? Something that was not appreciated, taken for granted. That's what I'm trying to say. Something that was taken for granted, you know what I mean? So, Seven of Wands coming out in the reverse also, you know. So maybe that was like being overly vulnerable with like people that you can't trust, because Seven of Wands is like protecting yourself, you know. So it's like maybe you were just too open with people who you really couldn't trust, you know. And so that kind of ended up, you know, things were taken for granted by people that you couldn't trust. But now, you know, look at that. Two of Swords coming out in the reverse too. It's like you're no longer accepting this from people you can't trust. Like, Two of Swords in reverse is like, I can see clearly now the rain is gone, bitch. You know what I mean? King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So it's like, you're like, I can see clearly now, and I can see, you know, people for who they are, and I'm no longer like going to be accepting that sort of treatment, this kind of Four of Swords treatment. And you know, a lot of ways too, y'all, I'm getting this energy of Two of Cups in reverse, and especially it being, like I said, literally like the palest, most devoid of life card on the deck. It's almost like this is like a old movie, okay? This is the message I'm getting, y'all. This is like an old movie. It's played out. It's you know, the life has been squeezed out of it. It's a fantasy that was planted in your head, you know, by whatever society. Like, I'm just getting this very much like this is a dull, played out fucking fantasy. It's like an old dream, a dream you had years and years ago. Like, the reason why I'm presenting it this way is because this is the message I'm getting, is that this is not even fulfilling to you, this whole, you know, relationship dynamic, okay, of this like romantic, like very binary, like hetero, like type of thing. It's like, you know, maybe like, I mean, it's so funny the way it's coming out with all these other cards. It's like the cards that are really standing out to me, Queen of Wands, really standing out to me. This is not a, you know, I submit to you and, you know, now we you know, do this and that. This is like a very much, you are the focus, okay? You're in charge. You're choosing to take your boots off. You're, you know what I mean? Like, and this person is just like totally dumbfounded. You know what I mean? Who's really in charge in this situation? You know what I mean? And the reason why I'm really focusing on that is because this is like societal. This is more like societal. Like, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. This is, you know, this happens naturally also. But maybe it just doesn't work for you anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe it's played out for you. You never got that. You know what I mean? Or it was you instead got, you know, situations where, you know, you were maybe taken for granted and not appreciated the way that you should have been, right? And especially the Two of Cups coming out in reverse, it's almost like that dream is dead. Like, you know what I mean? And there's nothing, maybe there's a little bit of mourning that had to happen for that. Maybe you've had to, you know, really come to terms with that, heal from that, let that go. But like, look at this. It's like, I just feel like you're leaving that behind. Like, look, there's this couple laying on the ground in the back here. You're like, you have risen from the ashes. Like, this is like, you burn that shit down. You're like, I don't even resonate with that anymore. You know? And yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, that's spilt milk, whatever. You know what I mean? Probably a little bit more than spilt milk here, honey, but this is like, what I'm saying is, you've decided to fucking rise from the ashes of that old dream that never was, or that old dream that was stomped on, you know, and you're just kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to let that part of me go. I'm going to let that part of me die, because look at this. Like, you do not have the rest of your life to sit around and fantasize and be upset about things not being exactly the way that you wanted them to be, because you have your whole fucking life ahead of you. Like, look at this belt with like all these skulls on it and stuff. It's almost like, you know what? For every dead dream, you know what I mean? Every stomped on fantasy that you've experienced, it has literally made you this like fucking insanely powerful, like, okay, so this reminds me a lot of Kali. Which if you're familiar at all, you know, and if not, you should go look them up. They're like a deity. And Kali is death. Kali is time, you know, completely like all powerful, like Kali decides, like, you know what I mean? That's the energy. And like they even have like, they have a necklace of like men's heads, right? So like the idea is you're like, I slay, bitch, I slay, because like you know what I mean? Like, you mess with me, I cut you off, I cut you down. Especially with this, hold on, this Queen of Swords energy is the same kind of vibe. It's like, I've been through it, I've been hurt, I am healed now, I am healing now, and the only types of connections that I'm going to support, or even people that I'm even going to allow around me, are going to cherish me and appreciate me and treat me the way that I deserve to be treated. And you know what? I don't care if even, like, you're just kind of like, look, I deserve to be treated with respect. I deserve to be cherished and appreciated. And it doesn't have to be this, you know, binary, kind of like hetero, you know, one person, soulmate, get married, have kids, bullshit. You're just like, literally like, you know what I mean? I don't care about that anymore. Okay? I want to explore. I want to have fun. I want to be in charge. I want to be appreciated. You know what I mean? I want to decide, you know what I mean, who, when, and where. You know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, it could be multiple people. You know what I mean? Like, you've got all these cards on the table, like, you know? I love this reading for you. Look at that, 3 of Cups, bitch. You're like, I'm Polly now, bitch. I love this for you. No, I'm serious. I really love this for you. Like, this is feeling to me like really releasing, and just being like, you know what, that narrative has caused me pain. The way that things haven't worked out to fit that narrative has caused me pain. Me even seeking to fulfill that narrative has caused me pain. So at some point you have to realize it's not you that is causing the pain. It is the narrative, okay? And the narrative has narrowed you into this one path to happiness, this one path to romance, this one path to love. And you realize now that that's irrelevant. Like, it's irrelevant. You don't need it. It's only caused you pain, and it's cut you off from possibilities, you know, and now you're just like, you know what? I don't even care about that anymore. There are so many other like paths that I could take to be happy and fulfilled. Look at that, 6 of Cups coming out in reverse. This is so much like the TikTok reading. I'm telling you guys, I only do like 3-minute readings over there, and then I use sometimes 60 seconds, and then I pop over here and do this whole in-depth thing. And the 6 of Cups came out in that reading as well. And what else came out in that message was releasing the past You're letting go of anybody who maybe you fell in love with and then your heart was broken, or this idea of a person that you wanted to fall in love with, you know, stuff like that. The Six of Cups is like past life relationships, past life energy, and you're releasing it and saying, look, I release you with love. I release you with love. It's okay. I don't resent you anymore. You know, I don't resent the past and the pain. I'm just letting it go because it is what it is. And, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be happy. I want to be free from this. I want to let this go and release the past so that I can move forward into my abundant new future, you know? Wow. High Priestess coming out in reverse. It's like, hold on a moment. And the Death card again. Wow. Damn. This is such a powerful message, y'all. I can't even, like, okay, do you see how the High Priestess is like reaching around their neck, like their neckline, the neckline of their cape or whatever this is, their cloak. They're like pulling at it almost like they're kind of being restricted or constricted by it a little bit, you know? So it's almost like all of that we just talked about, this past stuff, has really been restricting you. And restricting you from being able to see the truth clearly, speak the truth clearly, right? And your intuitive knowledge. It's really, it messed with your intuition, and you ended up connecting with people who were totally not trustworthy or good for you. And that is why you experienced so much heartache, was because of this fucking narrative, not because you couldn't find what you were looking for. It was because of the people who took advantage of your vulnerability. They took advantage of the fact that you were discombobulated, okay, by the desire to fulfill this narrative, this like societal narrative, whatever it was planted in your head, and it wasn't like from you. Because I'm getting like with this energy that's coming out of the you that's emerging from the ashes of all this, is like a bad bitch, and you don't, I mean, like regardless of gender, and you don't need this like played out, dried up, tired ass narrative of you and me forever and ever, you know, and this endless romance. It's like, that's not reality. Like maybe that's reality for some people, but it doesn't matter because it's not reality for you. Okay. And you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is, you're releasing the desire for it because it has discombobulated your intuition and caused you to make decisions that were harmful to you. And you can take responsibility for that. That would be a wise thing to do. But also realize that you were taken advantage of. It was the other fucking people who need to be held accountable now. Okay. You know, so they're being held accountable by the universe or you or whatever. It doesn't matter. But I'm really just feeling you're letting that shit go. And you're rising up from the ashes. Look at this newborn you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting here. So you're like, wow, I can explore again, and I can be curious, and my intuition is going to be clearer because now I'm not seeking a specific thing. I'm willing to look at all of the beauty that comes in and out of my life in all of these different forms. And I'm not seeking out one specific type of butterfly. You get what I'm saying? You're willing to just enjoy what has been coming in here, you know? And now I feel like you're going to be appreciating and embracing and bringing in like people who are really, really going to cherish you and treat you well. You know, like that's the energy I'm getting. Wow. Okay. So what should we do now, Spirit? Okay. A couple more tarot cards, and then we'll pull some oracle cards. If you're still with me and you're enjoying the reading, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to drop me a comment or subscribe. And if you want to find my other socials, I do post on Instagram. I have a tarot Instagram and a tarot TikTok. I also just started a new YouTube channel that's a commentary channel and a reaction channel. So go check me out there also. Yeah, we'll go ahead and close out this reading. Really excuse my my throat clearing here. This is a really good reading. I'm just saying, it's a lot of fun. Look at that, 7 of Cups. You're realizing that there are infinite possibilities and you have many, many diverse choices to make here. You don't have to be stuck on one. Look at that, Emperor coming out in reverse. It's almost like anything that's had power over you is no more. 10 of Wands in reverse. You're dropping the burden. Wow, and then the Lovers coming out again to close out the reading. First card that came out, last card that came out. That's beautiful. you are going to be able to explore what it's like to be lovers without expectation, to be lovers without, you know, pain, right? Without fear. Yeah, I'm really getting that. That's really powerful reading. Excuse me, and thank you, Spirit. Oh, y'all. Okay, this is the one. This is the one, boo. Happy solstice again, by the way. Please get out there and enjoy the summertime. Instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good for all. You're no longer attached. You're no longer attached to an outcome. Trust me, leaving it behind, you're not losing anything by leaving it behind. Trust me, because here's the thing. Leaving it behind does not mean that it, you know, that it's not a possibility also. Because if it's something that you've really wanted for a long time, it's been squeezing you and making you make crazy decisions to try and get it and all this sort of thing, and you've been hurt over and over again because of it, trust me, okay? Letting it go is not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your chances of finding love. All it's going to do is like clean the slate a little bit and open you up to the possibilities. And that is still a possibility. If you really want it, it's still a possibility. But it's better for you to release it with love and not resentment, like, well, I give up because I can't find love. It's like, release the narrative and you're gonna find love in all kinds of places, okay? That's the energy. So instead of praying for a specific outcome, pray for the highest good for all, yourself included, okay? And watch the magic unfold. That's all I can say. Yeah. So anyway, wow, beautiful reading. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please do hit those buttons, and I will see you again next time. Bye.